II, he went from the bombing runs that he did that earned him the Distinguished Flying Cross over Africa and Italy. He was one of the most decorated flyers in World War II, to ferrying food to the front lines for people who had been devastated by the bombing. When he came to the Senate, he made ending hunger one of his priorities. And I am so proud that when you think about it, he expanded food stamps, he expanded school lunch and school breakfast, he created the Women, Infant, and Children Feeding Program. And I'm so proud of the work that he's doing now. He and former Senator Dole are helping to implement something called the McGovern-Dole Food Program, and it's aimed at helping children around the world who go hungry to get a decent meal by going to school. So it's about ending hunger and about promoting education. And I think that George McGovern has had many titles in his career. He's been a senator, he's obviously a veteran, he's been an ambassador to the food programs, but he is above all a patriot and someone that the United States of America should be proud of and thank for his years of service to our country. And I am equally pleased and proud to have the support of Congressman Jim McGovern. Jim McGovern, go and Google him, find out what he's done, because since he was a relatively young man, and certainly in the time since he's been in the Congress, he has made such a mark on behalf of human rights. Jim McGovern probably did more as an American to bring an end to the violence in Central America than anybody else. He went year after year after year. He stood up for the voiceless. He stood up against the violence. And when I'm president, he's going to be one of my advisors to make sure that we do what we need to do in Latin America. And finally, I want to thank your own Kim Painter. I'm so thrilled to have Kim's support in this campaign, and it means the world to me, Kim, to have you here introducing me tonight to the Johnson County Democrats. You know, I agree completely with Senator McGovern. We have great candidates running, and you've heard from a lot of them tonight. And we are united in our effort to run a campaign that lays the groundwork for a victory in November 2008, and then a concerted effort that involves not just whom we elect, but every single one of us to take our country back. This is not just about who's running for president. This is about whether we, our fellow citizens, are willing to do what it takes, not just to win an election, but to regain that feeling that we want again, that we're proud of our country and that we're making progress together. You know, yes, 2 days ago, I made a speech about what we needed to do to end President Bush's war on science. A war that has silenced scientists, that has taken information off of websites, that has conducted disinformation campaigns, and how we needed to get back to acting on the basis of evidence, not ideology. That we are Americans, and as Americans, we should be leading the world in making it possible for us to have ethical stem cell research that will cure disease and give people hope for the future. And I gave that speech on Thursday because it was the 50th anniversary of Sputnik. Now, when I used to talk about this saw it as a turning point where America galvanized in order to meet the challenges we faced. And it wasn't partisan. We had a Republican president, Dwight Eisenhower, who put in motion what became the space program. And then President Kennedy made that extraordinary claim that we would send a man to the moon and bring him back safely by the end of the decade. Because we believed in America and what we could do together. And that's what we've got to start doing again in this country. I want to be a president who sets big goals for us. Because I know we can meet them. We can roll up our sleeves and we can work together and we can make it clear that our best days, yes, they are still ahead. And so here are the goals that I would like to see us achieve. I want to restore America's leadership around the world, and that begins with ending the war in Iraq and bringing our troops home. Now, we know that that is going to be something that we're going to have to do, apparently, after George Bush leaves office. Because with the height of irresponsibility, he's going to veto, he's going to stand in the way, and he's going to lead this war to his successor. Well, President Bush, we're going to continue to fight you every step of the way. We're going to try to reverse your course, but if you don't end the war in Iraq, when I'm president, I will, as quickly and responsibly as I can. But you know, we have so many problems. You know, the next president is going to inherit problems from Latin America to China. We've got to focus on Iraq. We have to figure out what to do about the Middle East. We have to finally, once and for all, end the genocide in Darfur. We've got to be willing to set a new course. And I have said that I will not wait until I'm inaugurated, but the day after I'm elected, I will ask distinguished Americans of both parties to go around the world on my behalf and make a very clear message heard by governments and peoples alike. The era of cowboy diplomacy is over. We're going to start working with the rest of the world. You know, this may sound overly simplistic, but you cannot be a leader if no one is following. And on every problem we face, from global terrorism to global warming to global epidemics, we have to find common ground again. And I think that the next president has to make it very, very clear that we're going to seek those opportunities. And I intend to do that. And here at home, we have a very big agenda. We've got to get the economy working for every American again. We've got to rebuild the American middle class and the American dream. And there are several things we're going to have to put at the top of the nation's list in order for that to happen. Number one, we've got to have a healthcare system that provides quality, affordable health care for every American. And I've met several nurses as I was coming in to speak earlier, and every one of them said, we've got to have more help. We have to have more help. We can't do what we need to do for our patients if we don't have more help. Well, help is on the way. We're going to have healthcare reform. We're going to get it done this time. table